Life is so busy. If you blink, you can miss something amazing. It's important to take a moment and enjoy what we have and the people around us. I'm Mo Hagan, Chief Operating Officer for CanFit Pro, and welcome to A Moment with Mo, a podcast where I will welcome some incredible guests to talk fitness and nutrition, mindset and self-empowerment, setting our goals into action, and much, much more. Now let's get chatting. Welcome to A Moment with Mo, a space for meaningful conversations with leaders who move people to greatness. I'm your host, Mo Hagan, and it's been my career journey and my life purpose to create momentum in pursuit of creating positive change in the world. And boy, oh boy, we need that more than ever today. Each episode, we explore what it means to live purposefully, lead boldly, and might I say, borrowing from our guest today, how to love your life. Today's guest embodies all of that and more, and I am just thrilled to welcome a powerhouse in the health, fitness, and yoga industry. This person is a visionary entrepreneur, dynamic leader, and fierce advocate for holistic health through movement. From a single mom with a dream of becoming CEO of one of the fastest growing franchise models in the fitness industry, she's created a nationwide movement that is grounded in purpose and pulsing with energy. As I introduce this guest and you get to know her, if you do not already know Jen Hamilton, you'll know exactly what I mean by grounded in purpose and pulsing with energy. Welcome, the founder and CEO of Oxygen Yoga and Fitness, Jen Hamilton.
Why, thank you, Mo. That was quite the introduction. I'm feeling very flattered, maybe blushing a wee bit.
Oh, well, you look amazing. You're just glowing in that background. My goodness, it's I look at the across the street and you're looking at across the valley, I think, where you are. Where are you coming in from?
Vancouver. I'm actually right down here in the Falls Creek area in Vancouver, and the sun is like starting to pop out, and it is absolutely beautiful here today.
Oh, wow. Well, you're a perfect match because your beauty and your youth, as I get to know you more and more and learn about your children and their ages, I think, how's that possible? But we will dive into that because I'm sure that part of your beauty and youthfulness comes from your philosophy and we have so much to talk about today. And I don't want to hold us back. I want to say to all our listeners and viewers, you're here with Jen Hamilton. If you've never taken Jen Hamilton Oxygen Yoga and Fitness class, you have an opportunity to do that this summer. That's one of the things we're going to talk about, which is the Summer Fusion Fest at CanFit Pro. More to say in a moment. We're also going to talk about Jen and her story and all about Oxygen Yoga and Fitness. And the other thing we're going to talk about is a theme very important in our business here in the fitness industry, and that is International Yoga Day. If you didn't know it existed, it does. And it's in my favorite month of the year, June. And then lastly, we're going to talk and share Jen's mantra in life and I'm sure in your business. And I'm not going to say what that is yet. So are you ready? Because we got a lot to talk about and I know you move fast. So if you're ready, I'm ready.
I think I'm ready. Yes.
Good. All right. Well, first of all, for those who haven't heard Jen's story, we're going to share that. But let me set up or tee you up for sharing that. It's a story that's deeply inspiring, as you will hear, from single motherhood to CEO of a thriving franchise empire. And it is an empire. I'm just learning since I talked to you last, you've gone from 150 locations internationally to 170. Wow. I'd love you to take us back to the moment where Oxygen Yoga and Fitness was born. And what was your why then, Jen? And how did you build it into becoming one of, and I want to say Canada's most recognized international fitness brands, but is also now becoming a very internationally recognized fitness brand of today?
Well, to start, I had a previous business and it was called Cardio Core Boot Camp. And I franchised that. And I went into this business not even knowing a thing about franchising. Although what I did know is that other people wanted to be a part of it. Other people fell in love with the concept. Therefore, I took it back and did my own investigation, and I went along the processes and started franchising that previous business. And I grew that to 59 locations in 3 different provinces in British Columbia, Alberta, and Ontario. And what happened with that business is there's a shelf life. There's a shelf life in anything in the fitness industry. I call it 7 years. Think about Taibo, kickboxing, step classes. It's about a 7 year shelf life. So I actually put a limitation to that business by identifying it with boot camp. Either way, long story short, I sold that business back in 2009, and I was working for the school district, went back to the school district, and, always had a passion for fitness. Ironically enough, ran into this couple that I trained in the grocery store, and they said, Jen, we're really missing your training, and we never had, such good results and everything. And I took that back, and I had a detached garage at that time. So I looked at my garage, I looked at all my equipment that I had from Cardio Core, and I refurbished my garage and made a little training studio. I called up Chuck and Sandy and said, hey, guess what? I just, refurbished my garage and I made a little gym. Do you guys want to come training with me? Sure. Next thing you know, they come. Then I've got 6 people. Then I've got 12 people. And then I had to start overlapping. And one day, knock, knock, knock on my door, and it was a bylaw officer. Bylaw officer says to me, I hear you've got a training facility here. And I said, oh, yes, come, let me show you. So the the bylaw officer kind of chuckled at just me being very, true to my passion and super excited to share this. And she says, Jen, I think this is fabulous, but this is illegal. You can't do this. And I'm like, oh, well, I have a business license. Well, no, Jen, you don't have the parking. You don't have this. So, with that, what would be perceived as something negative actually created an opportunity for myself. I was a gymnast growing up, and ironically enough, my parents were really good friends with the couple who owned the gym club in Pitt Meadows. So I called up Chilistina and said, hey, I know you're probably not using your facility at 6 a.m. So can I rent this from you? Not only was I familiar with the equipment and how I could create really cool exercise programs, but it was a large space that was undercover, and it, as I said, created an opportunity. Therefore, I started this training. It was called Train for You, and I think I had about 126 people who were training with me at the time. And my one girlfriend, Samara, who still works within the company and is in charge of the instructor teacher training program, she started teaching at a yoga studio called Oxygen Yoga. And she said, come do a class. And I said, okay. So I came, did a class. I fell in love with the infrared. Either way, long story short, fast forward, I start going and doing some classes with Samara. Then the owners actually said, Jen, would you like to do a boot camp style class here? I said, sure. So I did. And I mean, maybe I should go back. I was flipping houses at the time when all of this
just something small on the side, flipping houses.
So I was flipping houses at the time, and long and the short of it, instead of buying another house, I had the opportunity to buy this yoga studio, and I got to actually create what is now today Oxygen Yoga and Fitness. So recognizing the importance of yoga, what it brings to people, spirituality, embodies so much, and then contributing fitness into yoga and having separate classes, that are just on a fitness base, bar classes, everything. It just allowed me to create a space that had a lot of diversity, that welcomed everyone, whether you were young or old or male or female or physically fit or not. I wanted to create a safe space for everyone. And
Mm.
here we are today with Oxygen Yoga and Fitness. And yeah, I
Wow.
should mention, I never thought that I was going to franchise again. And that was one question people said to me. They're like,
Mm.
so Jen, will you ever franchise again? I said, absolutely not. I said, nope.
Mm.
I said, this is going to be my baby in our community. And that was that. And here we are.
Here we are today with a
Yes.
franchise empire. Can you share what changed your mind or
Yes.
who
Well,
changed your mind?
you know what? It was really funny because I was teaching a class and I was walking down in the middle of, both aisles there. And there was a lady by the name of Lori lying there on her mat in Shavasana. And she's like, I want one. I looked at her and I said, you want, what do you want? She goes, I want one of these locations. And I crouched down beside her. And it was at that point, and it actually gets me very emotional. It wasn't about going and making money. It was about sharing something that really, really gravitated towards somebody else. And for somebody to say, I want to share this with other people. To me, I wanted to share that with somebody too. Ironically enough, Lori was also a single mom with 3 kids. And she also had twins as well, which is very kind of serendipitous. But I wanted to give her an opportunity that I know was created for myself by having this business and what I was able to do, not only for myself but mainly for my children. And I just, it was about sharing, and truly,
Oh,
it snowballed after that.
wow. And you are about that. I mean, when people meet you, you give off this vibe, and it's this vibe of energy, of course, but it's not just that. They want to be around you, but they also, they see you and what you do and just the love you bring to everything that you do. And people want to be able to do the same. And so it's really incredible. And I could, the way you told your story, there was always those serendipitous moments that, happen perfectly as they should, even if we don't know what the heck we're doing, but we know why we're doing it. That's what I say about, as long as you know your purpose, the path will appear. And that seems to be the case for you, not even wanting another franchise or knowing how to necessarily build a business. You were doing it because of your passion for sharing it. And that's so incredible that you are still doing that to this day. It's a big role, but I guess, you align yourself with great people. It just helps you serve your daily purpose. And that's just such an incredible gift you're giving this planet and
Oh,
so many people on it. So congratulations. That's so amazing. And I hear that too. I've been to some of the classes and I actually know some of your um, managers and some of your franchise owners because they started in the fitness industry and then they came to one of your studio classes and they're like, I want one of these. And they didn't see themselves as an entrepreneur, but they follow your philosophy and that's what they want to have in their life. So it's just amazing. If you haven't, for everybody listening and watching, if you haven't experienced an Oxygen yoga and fitness class, well, there's 170 locations around the globe that you can. I'm blessed here in London, Ontario, with a few of those locations, but you can also come and experience Jen, her team, and what Oxygen and yoga and fitness is all about at ChemFit Pro Global. So I think most of you might know that I work with ChemFit Pro, and the ChemFit Pro Global event is our annual event for the fitness industry. It's also for all aspects of the fitness health related industry. We have incredible pillars of education experiences this year. So probably a good segue, Jen, to talk about what's behind your event, Fusion Fest, which is a Oxygen Yoga and Fitness Festival that is coming to ChemFit Pro Global this summer. First time inaugural event. There's 2 aspects to it. So I'd love you to share what you're most excited about, but I might tee that up by just reminding everyone what's part of this Fusion Fest. It's a 2-day event that coincides with the 2-day ChemFit Pro global event. The Friday kicks off with Fusion Fest, which is a incredible lineup of master classes that are an electrifying fusion of movement, music, live DJ, and of course the powerful community, which is everyone who chooses to join. And maybe you could talk about the classes that you're going to be debuting there. And then Saturday, we combine the passion for movement with the passion of the business side. And you're going to kick off first in the trade show for our consumers with one of your signature classes, Jen. I know that you're famous for your absolutely burning butts. Is a class that will change your butt and then some. And then you've got some business sessions that will help people build on their dream career, help elevate their teaching, but also hear directly from you and some of your franchisees about the opportunity. So maybe I could ask you, tell us about your vision behind this 2-day event, what you're most excited about, and what you hope that participants will walk away having experienced and learned from you and your team.
Oh my goodness, there's so many things that I'm excited about. I'm excited, one, just to meet everyone and share with what Oxygen is all about. As I mentioned before, I believe having an element of the yoga, an element of the fitness, and a fusion of both really just creates a totally different, I want to say, platform for this industry and for what we have to offer. By being up on stage and having people participate and feel the energy that we exude in our classes, and creating that place for people to either, one, feel like they're in, just namaste mode on their mats, or they're, like partying, that they're dancing on their mats. Like, just so many, there's such a different variation within our programming. So I'm really excited to share what that looks like and what that feels like as a participant, and also excited to introduce some of our rock star instructors and just give people an opportunity to really learn more about Oxygen and what we have to offer, including the teacher training program, the certification, whether you're already a certified instructor, opportunities for you to come and work within any one of our locations. There's also, as you mentioned, franchise opportunities. So to really touch on, three different, let's call it three different demographics. So one, the consumer, introduce what Oxygen is. Maybe people are intimidated. They don't want to, go and sign up for something not knowing what it is. So giving them a taste and an introduction as to what we are and how our classes are formatted and what that looks and feels like. Secondly, an instructor to give opportunities for maybe that member who's considering becoming an instructor to take a deeper dive and follow that, that passion that they have for, being in the class. And maybe they want to be that person hosting the class. And then also the franchise opportunities. We often have a lot of instructors who turn into franchise operators. It's not to say you have to be an instructor in order to do that. That's just usually the pathway in which things have just unfolded within our business model. But I mean, there's just so many things that myself and my team are extremely excited about. And I think most of all is just meeting people, understanding their why, and maybe just having, those open, honest conversations with people to really encourage them to follow their passion and their dreams, and not be afraid of, next steps, because often that's what happens is people are afraid of failure. So I think by allowing them, these people to listen to some of these other team members of mine with their journey might build confidence within those individuals.
Absolutely. And you've mentioned this a number of times since the beginning of this interview, is your story and experience, your journey to where you are today came from connecting with like-minded people, people who saw within you opportunity and or just kind of gave you that nudge to do something that you actually said not happening again. And I can't stress enough, friends, that you just don't know who you will meet at a live in-person event, whatever event that is, even in a fitness class. I met someone today that actually told me about how they started in fitness from a class they took from me in 1984.
Oh,
And I'm like, what? And they came back after all those years. They'd been member and then they went off and the story, they got a job, got married, had kids and moved away, came back and now they're retired and now they're back in the gym, striving to get their fitness to where they want it to be. But they had their first experience with me and then they landed in a class today and it happened to be me. And it was just reminded me of my purpose. And there's so many people I find, Jen, that would like to hold you back or tell you that it's not possible or say, don't dream so big or you're not a business person. And it's so nice to be around an environment where people are lifting each other up and sharing their vibe, sharing what they do and why they do it to help inspire the consumer, the instructor that want to be an entrepreneur, but don't think I can be. And you've got a perfect turnkey franchise model that makes it possible for anyone. So, I say to everybody, if you're looking to change your life and you're looking to elevate your health and also your wealth, perhaps, it rhymes, then you got to come and meet Jen and her team and also experience it. And like you said, whether you jump in as a consumer and experience a class with you and or your team, or you join that Fusion Fit Fest, Friday afternoon, 3 live DJ class experiences. And then, of course, go to the training seminar on the Saturday and or the business opportunity meetings. That'll be just a fantastic way. And every year, I know when people meet you, Jen, somebody says yes to the opportunity. That happened, I think, the last time. And so it's just a matter of, showing up, stepping in and connecting, like you said. So thank you for that because, I think people forget the power of connection, especially since the pandemic, when we learned to be on our own in our own homes and working virtually. It's so nice to be out getting each other's vibe to fuel our own vibe and purpose.
I agree. And I think timing is everything. And a lot of people create excuses or reasons why not. But if there's like a little, message or a little, a voice saying, I'm curious. I would encourage you to come because that is your voice talking to you, and you never know what is going to unfold once you put yourself in different environments. And often people are afraid of putting themselves in these places, but the whole purpose of, my business model is creating those safe places for people to really go and channel their energy in a positive way. And that goes for every different facet, like whether it's that consumer coming in as a member or that instructor coming in and, hosting a class, or that franchisee coming in and wanting to be part of a bigger conversation and bigger entity of the business. There's all of these different variables that could attract so many different people.
Oh, absolutely. And for those listening in, this is Jen Hamilton, creator and CEO of Oxygen Yoga and Fitness. We're going to talk about a very internationally acclaimed day that ties into Jen's business. So I'm very curious to ask you this question, Jen, about this year's International Yoga Day, which is June 21st, and the meaning behind it. There's been a common theme over the last at least number of years that I've learned from doing a little bit of research on what the theme for International Yoga Day is, which is yoga for one earth, one health. I thought, that's interesting. This was actually shared by the India's Prime Minister, Narendra Modi. And apparently, yoga for one earth, one health is to be a powerful reminder of how deeply yoga connects us to our personal and planetary well-being. So, Jen, I'd love you as the person most connected to yoga in my life and in my network. Can you tell us how does this theme align with Oxygen Yoga and Fitness's mission and movement? And how do you see yoga playing a role in healing not just individuals, but communities and even the earth?
Well, I think that's a really, actually, it's a beautiful theme. One, I mean, yoga originated in India. So essentially, they've shared their practice with the world. You know what I mean? And they've embodied like sharing and welcoming, let's call different practices. And I mean, for us, to use yoga as a foundation, and we created our business model around that premise, but gave it, let's call it, a West Coast approach to our rendition of what Oxygen Yoga and Fitness is. I just think that it stems back to that whole sharing. And I think having that theme and that statement is very universal, because what yoga allows people to do is to align with their mind, their body, and their soul. And we want all of those three facets to align to create health and happiness. So I think it's very powerful. I think it's beautiful. I think it can definitely be used universally, just for that mindset. And I mean, we're excited to celebrate on the 21st. We have lots of different activities going on at individual locations, but right across the network, like honoring and opening up the doors to people who might not have ever tried yoga before, to give them an opportunity to come in. We have all of our drop-ins at a 50% reduced rate for them to come in and give it a try and see if that's something that serves a purpose to them.
Oh, wow. That's great to hear. And that's for Saturday, June 21st.
Correct.
And so, I find that I hear this a lot when my instructor friends go to resorts and teach at resorts as part of their teaching vacation. And I've experienced it myself that sometimes all it takes is that one experience. And often at a resort or on a day like International Yoga Day, you try it out with either no judgment or some judgment, maybe a little bit of fear, but also faith. Maybe your friend brought you, you got a personal invite as a member of the Oxygen Yoga and Fitness community. But then you go and you realize, oh my gosh, I'm going to do more of this. And then it changes your life. And I do believe that's part of this whole theme, because when you can change your life and inspire others around you to live healthier and happier, you make better decisions. And that's got to have a positive impact on your community and on the planet itself. I believe in that strongly. When we take care of ourselves, put our own oxygen mask on, we then can help others. And when we help others, then we can get through whatever that crisis is or that moment is. So it's a powerful day. And I appreciate you sharing from what you're doing in a business. And I would love all of you to take the opportunity, this as an invitation, to check out a class at Oxygen Yoga and Fitness or practice yoga wherever that might be. I'll certainly be doing it. I teach yoga on Saturdays, so it's going to be a great way to build a really powerful theme. So there's your theme for this year, folks. If you're a yoga instructor, please use it, and let's share the news and the message around this international theme this year. So thank you for sharing that. And as we wrap up our conversation today, Jen, I think we need another trip somewhere so that we can really catch up. Jen and I experienced a fabulous trip up into Quebec last summer, and it was a really fun way to get to know each other even more. But so I can't be selfish and keep you too much longer. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. We need a trip so I can then hang out without guilt. So before we sign off, I really want to talk to you about your personal, mantra that you use in your business. And I call it, your mantra, the oxygen mantra. It may not be referred to that, but you always end a class, end a moment, a presentation with your mantra, love your life. So I'd love you to share really what that is about, what it means to you today, and how can our listeners and viewers start to embody in their own life, both personally and professionally, what it means to love your life.
Well, it means so many things, but what the mantra represented to me and it's actually stemming from what you just said previously. So the I love my life comes from a place of taking time to yourself, taking care of yourself, loving yourself, not feeling guilty about spending 45 minutes or an hour on your yoga mat. You're taking care of yourself, which in turn makes you a better person. Once you love yourself, you can learn to love other people around you. So by that mission statement that was embodied from that, just allowing yourself to give yourself the space, to give yourself the time, to love yourself. And truly that's where it stemmed from, and not having coming from a place of guilt, but coming from a place of just embracing yourself and giving yourself that time and energy to channel it in the most positive way possible.
Oh,
So
wow.
we always end each and every one of our classes, and it's kind of funny because at first when people do it, they're like, okay, this is kind of weird, but it's funny because as the location grows and the affirmation, the mission statements, everything, they get louder and louder and prouder and prouder. And, I have people stopping me, sending me messages, Jen, I love my life, or, like stuff like that. So it's really sweet. So what we do at the end of class is we make a heart in the shape of our hands, and we look at our beautiful selves in the mirror. Well, sometimes I do things corny, and I'll say, look at your neighbor. So pretend and say, I love my life. And then people do it and they giggle. And then I say, look at your other neighbor. And then by this time they're chuckling. And they say, I love my life. And then I'm like, look at your beautiful selves in the mirror and loud and proud on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I love my life.
I love my life.
Yay.
Oh my gosh. And you know what? That has been a powerful brand statement for you. I see it everywhere in your marketing, and it connects people to you, and it also connects people to your brand. I hear people often, and it's a powerful what you've created with what is actually quite I was going to say simple, but it's
It is
really
simple.
starts, it's
Mo, it
simple,
is
but
simple.
people don't do it.
Yes.
And you've given people permission to do that momentary self-care of loving themselves, which if you
Yes.
can't start there, how do you love your life, love the people in your life, love your community, your job? It starts here, right? It's that vibe you create from within you. And that is just beautiful.
Well, and the funny thing is, by doing that corny thing, going, it's actually you're introducing yourself to two totally strangers that you don't know. So it's creating community, and it creates that conversation, and it fosters that, and it just
Oh,
like there have been so many beautiful stories that have come out of Oxygen Studios, friendships, marriages, like just, and to me, that is what, like it is my why, creating these spaces and for people, coming and saying, I'm off my pain medication. I'm not seeing my psychiatrist anymore. Just all of these beautiful things that come out of really taking time for yourself and doing it in like a healthy, safe manner. And yeah, it's wonderful.
wow. Wow. Incredible. And again, the power of connection in that exercise alone. I've been coaching presenters who are going to be moderating sessions like yourself this summer at CanFit Pro Global, how we can create interactive experiences, especially in what traditionally was known as lectures. People don't want to come to a conference to be lectured at. They want to have an experience. They want to connect. They want to interact and learn together. And I was saying, well, an icebreaker, would be a great way to help somehow get people connected with each other. Well, you just heard the best icebreaker ever is how you can not only finish your session, but start your session by helping people connect on the most personal level. And I mean, you won't forget the person you met to the right and to the left of you, and you just don't know who you will meet. I'm going to say that again. Jen, how would folks that are listening and are watching learn more about the work that you do, the business that you run? I know we've been putting across the bottom of the screen your hashtags, your website. There it is again, oxygenyogaandfitness.com. Any recommendations on how people can best reach out to you at this time and or in August as we lead into CanFit Pro?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty much an open book. So, I mean, if anybody wanted to reach me personally, you can email me at jen@oxygenyogafitness.com, or you can visit our website and just take a deeper dive into what might interest you, what you might have questions about, and we can go from there. And so excited, Mo, to see you. And every year your camp, like this conference gets bigger and better, and it's just like I don't know how you're gonna outdo last year. So
well, I know how I'm gonna outdo last year. I'm gonna outdo last year because Fusion Fest, Oxygen Yoga and Fitness Festival will be coming to CanFit Pro Global. First time. You can go to canfitpro.com, look at the homepage, everything about CanFit Pro Global is there. All you have to do is register. There are other ways to register to participate in Fusion Fest. You can also go to your website and you can sign up there as well. But there's lots of ways you can connect and experience what we're offering at CanFit Pro Global. And this is just one of the many experiences, but we're super excited to have you and your team. We know that it's going to be a vibe that will be talked about for years to come. And who knows what we'll be able to shape up together as we embark upon this summer's conference, the conference of the year for the Canadian fitness industry. And of course, without the yoga show this year, Jen, no pressure, girlfriend, but Oxygen Yoga and Fitness is the yoga show coming to you this summer, August 15th and 16th at, of course, the Metro Toronto Convention Center in Toronto. And you can always connect with Jen. You can follow up with myself. You can catch other podcasts with Mo on my website, mohagan.com. And unlike me, I'm going to pass and give the final word to our incredible guest, Jen Hamilton, to close today's episode. Over to you, my friend.
Well, I think I already said it, but you know what? Just honestly, I want everybody just to really take time just to make a little heart with the shape of their hands and tell yourself 3 times, I love my life, and truly believe it. Because when you believe it, you actually get to share that with others.
I always say, when you believe it, you achieve it. Oh, there I did. I said a last word. Thank you, Jen. I love you. Thank you for joining me today.
Okay.
And we'll all see you soon. Bye for now.
Okay. Bye.